Hello everyone, how are you? How are you? Cheers. This is my bottle of water. I'm cheersing. Cheersing, is that a word? I am giving cheers, making cheers, whatever it is, to the final episode of 2021. Thank you so much for being with me this whole entire year. This is officially the TerranLamp Show, episode number 75. So thank you so much for joining me this year. This has been an amazing year. I'm going to be posting on my story and all that good stuff, some year in review. This is episode number 75. I cannot believe it. I started this show in May of 2020? Yeah, 2020, I think, during the whole pandemic thing. And I didn't know where it was going to go. And I appreciate every one of you for joining the show each and every week. If you're new to joining us, this is the TerranLamp Show. We are here every Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5:30 for my Pacific friends in Cali and all over the world. We've had international guests. We have had so many people this year, and I truly, truly appreciate each and every one of you for joining. Again, this is the TerranLamp Show, episode number 75. So we've had some amazing guests this year, and we've also opened it up to the opportunity, and I'm going to put my Cash App in the comments. So we've also started giving back this year, and that has been something that is near and dear to my heart. Most of you know that I am a survivor of heart disease and cancer. And with that said, I have been taking the money from the Cash App. It's just a kind offering. It's not official 501c3. It's nothing fancy. It's good old fashioned me, Cash App, giving back. And we've had a chance to pay off and pay some bills for some heart disease and cancer patients this year. And I truly, truly appreciate it. So before, let's see, I'm learning that's what I did this year too. I learned a little bit more about Instagram and how to pin comments and such. So let me see here. This is my Cash App. If you have it in your heart, oh man, can I pin that now? I think I can, right? Yeah, if you have it in your heart and would like to give, that is my Cash App. Please make sure if you can put Survivor in the comments. And that donation, like I said, is not an official 501c3. It is literally just a love and kind offering. What I do with those specific funds is I take them during some of my own appointments, and I just swipe and pay off or pay a portion of a heart disease and cancer patient in need, pay the bill or pay a portion of the bill, whatever we take in. So again, this is episode number 75. This is the last episode of 2021. We will be back in 2022, and I am going to get my guest in. Make sure you're liking, following, subscribing. We are on YouTube and Apple Podcast. So, and of course, you can always check out the episodes here on my IGTV at I Am TerranLamp. Alrighty, Mitch, let's get you in here. Everyone for joining us. Mitch, are you there? Let me see. Accept. I think I'm accepting, Mitch. Is it working on your end? I'm gonna request you, see if that works. I invited you now. Let's see. And I'm accepting. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Hello. There you are. How are you?
I'm fantastic, amazing. How are you?
Let me turn up the volume. Hold on. Can you hear me? Oh, yeah, it's my volume.
Yes.
Could you hear me? Because my volume is down.
I can. How are you? I said I'm fantastic, amazing. How are you?
Good, fantastic, and amazing myself.
I'm glad to hear that.
Woohoo! Alrighty, so we are going to get started, guys. Again, thank you so much for joining us. We truly appreciate it. This is episode number 75 of the TerranLamp Show. Mitch is rounding out 2021. Bring it, bring it, bring it. Alrighty, so let's just start, Mitch, with your story. I know we've talked a few times, and you have a great story and some great, I don't want to give it away, some inspiration, some dropping dimes. Let's go.
Well, first I want to say just thank you for having me on your show. It's awesome. I love the work you've been doing. Closing out the year strong, 75 episodes. So kudos to you for that. So I just want to say kudos to you first before we even commence, okay?
Kenny J says, big bro in the house.
What's up, my guy? You already know what it is. So my story. let me see, dates back to Washington, D.C., born and raised, born and bred in Washington, D.C., and that's a core part of my identity. And I think it just started out there with my biggest goal or focus was just trying to make it out of DC. That was my focus. It was a small dream at first, just trying to make it out the hood. And I couldn't see beyond my situation at first. You know, I was blessed to have well-educated parents and a wonderful community. Just grew up in a time that, you know, it was the murder capital, height of the crack epidemic. So it was really tough. I had some great friends in that area and just realized that I was blessed and kind of wondered what was different about me that I was able to make it out of this trap. You know, it's kind of the rose of roof from concrete. But once I went from there and went to college did so much for me. You know, I went to college, Elizabeth City State University, sight unseen. So, you know, first generation college students that got advanced degrees, I stepped on campus and had never seen my campus before. And it was pivotal to me because I wanted intentionally to go to a HBCU. Grew up in DC, which was known then as Chocolate City, but I was kind of that cool nerd, didn't really embrace my nerd at that time. I was a cool nerd, so I got kind of bused to the schools out of my district. So I went to school with a majority of white kids, but hung out with black kids in my neighborhood, and I had two different types of friends. So intentionally went to a HBCU to kind of get this homogeneous black education experience. You know, that Hillman experience, that what is it? What's the other show? I can't think of it. Whitley.
Different World.
A different world experience. Come on, right? A different world experience. I'm not aging myself or dating myself, but Elizabeth City was important.
Neither am
yeah,
I.
you know, we still with the hip. We hip. So went to Elizabeth City, and it really taught me to come out of my shell. You know, I wasn't used to, accustomed to conversing with people. You know, when you grow up in DC or in urban areas, you stick to yourself. And you're aware of your surroundings. So I used to wonder and walk, why are people talking to me that don't know me, right? And I wasn't able to understand my energy at that time. And then through being in this wonderful community, it kind of helped me blossom and grow. You know, and college was rough at first. One most improved student. Really didn't understand that I was in somebody else's backyard. And then me becoming in a fraternity, because they saw me in a different light. You know, when I came first, I had this DC mentality, which is an urban mentality, which is good for the environment, but it's important that we grow and adapt to the environment that we're in, right? And know the rules of engagement. So Elizabeth City was big for me. They inspired me. I graduated, wound up coming back, getting a master's degree and teaching at my alma mater. And that's how I kind of got started into the education thing. My mother dissuaded my brother and I from getting an education. And when it's your passion and your calling, I picked up the phone, right? And I love what I do. Was a professor for like 9 years. Did a lot of stuff, you know, helping us become better versions of ourselves and be a dream support and advocate for students. And now I'm assistant dean of students and just follow my passion at heart. I think it's beautiful that I get to pour in and support other people to pursuing and securing their dreams. So that kind of gives you a little background of where I've gone. I've been in some lot of places too. I've been in Indiana. I've been in Indiana. They had more horses than they had people to look like me. I'm just saying. And I was in Oregon for a while, and it was a beautiful place in certain aspects and ugly in certain aspects. But it helped me understand and appreciate us as a culture and as a community. And when you move away from your community, you really miss it. So, but I found some of the most wonderful people in my life in Oregon and in Indiana. It's the first time, honestly, that I felt comfortable and felt safe.
I think, I'm not sure if I'm going to say this right. Is it LA Krista? Or
La Krista. It's La Krista. Okay. Let me see.
I didn't know she's from LA. From LA, or, you know, she says funny. I know that is funny, right? Well, tell me about, so first of all, hello. Shout outs to Avery. I see you're on the line, Avery. And Carolina, thank you so much for joining us. Who else we got? Kenny J, Vaughn, and Jelena, Tasha. Oh, you guys, thank you so much for joining. So one of the comments I love, and we're gonna get back to everything, but tell me about this whole embracing your inner nerd thing, because I feel like we have that in common. I feel like I'm a little nervous because I think you actually are a little cooler than me. So I don't think we're quite on the same path, parallel. But, tell me a little bit about that. And most importantly, how you are helping others do that. Because I know that you're helping other, kids. We talked about this, young men, embrace either their inner nerd or just embrace themselves, right? And where they come from. We talk about that. And I know you kind of said it today, like bringing people up, right? And helping them. So how are you helping others embrace their inner nerd or inner whatever it is? But like I said, I do think you have a slight edge on me. So
I appreciate you recognizing my coolness. I thank you. I appreciate that. I had to go for a transition from being a nerd, from being cool to being a cool nerd. So I just think originally, like growing up and just your mindset and mentality at a certain time was, I thought it was more important to be tough than it was to be smart.
Mm-hmm.
And it was more important to be street smart than to really be book smart. Because I used to say, I can be book smart, but that's not going to stop people from putting their hands on me.
Mm-hmm.
So, right? So I was both. I had that duality of being street smart and book smart and believing and living within two different worlds. Okay. And that dichotomy between those two. So then I just was always kind of smart, but didn't really embrace it. I think just at that time, we sensationalize being aggressive and being urban and being tough and being street smart, but we don't put that same energy in being book smart and educated, right? So as I got older and realized I was smart, the school came naturally to me. I love school. If I'm gonna be here 8 hours, I might as well learn something, right? And grades, equate to money, or usually tantamount to money. That's what I tell all the students I see now. The better grades you get, the more money they're gonna pay you for. So as I got older, went to college. College was just like a runoff. I know I'm going to go to college. And I told you I won most improved student, but I still didn't embrace my nerd. I was trying to be with the fad of being cool. And I just think about us as a community, as a culture in hip hop and, in our culture, being cool, being a nerd wasn't really embraced. If you think about the music, it was more being rough, right? And then I think a new wave and a transition came into saying, you can be both, right? And embracing that. So I think that I was a college professor and in Florida, and a friend of mine, a colleague that was a professor that was a nerd, was a proud nerd, right? I'm nerd and I'm proud. I was kind of like, I'm cool, I'm smart, but hey, told me, leave that DC behind and embrace your inner nerd. And the thing what was so liberating was that sometimes you need somebody to help liberate you and affirm who you are and get you outside of this construct that you think of yourself. And once I heard that, I said, yes, I am smart. I can do this, right? So I think now my thing is be both. Be both. Don't be a monolith. Be both, right? Many times they try to put us in a box, into a frame, right? But I'll quote this. They say, I teach my son, I got a 13-year-old son that he thinks he's smarter than me. He tries to be, but he's a cool nerd. I tell him all the time, I think Bill Gates said it best. He said, be nice to the nerds because you'll end up working for them.
Right.
Right. And I think this, as we are as a culture, as a community now, it's great to be smart, right? And don't let anybody dim your light down. I think the whole thing is nerds are cool. I just hang out I love learning, and I had to embrace the fact that people would say, well, you are a nerd. You love words. You're a wordsmith. You have a doctorate degree. You're a college professor. You were a college professor, and you're a dean. Accept it.
Yeah.
And I had to. So now, go ahead.
So thank you guys for joining again. This is the Terran Lamp Show, episode number 75. I want to go back to some of the comments. Inner nerd watching The Flash too.
Somebody said I watched The Flash. That was probably the page.
And somebody said stamp champ, #wisdom. So C here is from the DMV as well. So
okay.
He's watching you. He says facts. LaCrista says, I love this one. Nerds keep the bills paid. I love that.
That part.
C says humble and salute. And LaCrista says yes. And C gives you, is clapping. I like that one from LaCrista. Nerds keep the bills paid. I like that one. Yeah, so it sounds like you have to, like you said, you had a couple, I don't know if I'd say obstacles or just, some things to work through. Would you call them obstacles, or would you say just kind of some things, you're working through? You were working when you started to embrace your authentic self.
I think I'd call them obstacles and challenges. I think that we are all, when do you really realize you know yourself?
Yeah, that's a
Like
good.
when?
I don't
When do
think.
you realize and say that, hey, Taryn, this is who I am. These are
Yeah.
things I like, right? And I think the biggest thing is when you're in a neighborhood and environment, everybody knows you from, they can connect to you from something, right? So I know you from the block, I know you from school, I know you from basketball, and they form this identity of you, right? That you know of yourself. But you really get to know yourself when you move into an environment where no one knows you.
Mm, that's so true. I was thinking to myself, like, when do I, and I feel like I learn myself every day. But what's interesting about what you just said is I've moved into this environment where really no one knew me when I moved here. Um, and so I think that's an understated comment that people should really think deeply about. Because when you go somewhere and really no one knows you, you got you. You know what I mean? And it's like, hello, your world is spinning around you, and you got you, right? Like, I mean, I of course got here by, I got married, moved here, but just not having, like a circle
Mm-hmm.
is not even was. I always say to people all the time, it is still, quite the interesting dynamic, not being from, here, when a lot of people are here and they have their circle and they have their tribe, if you will. So what, what do you think then, like, I guess, advice would you give someone who's kind of, in this phase, right? Because you don't know, because this doesn't have an age on it, right?
Mm-mm.
To find themselves or to embrace their inner, whatever they might have. What advice would you give someone who's like, I need to do this, for me, for my kids, for whomever, my career.
And I think this connects and relates to a multitude of people. You think about that when students go to college, right? New environment, new place that people don't know you, new job, new location, a new circle of friends. So I think that the first thing is, and we hear this platitude more often than not, as far as stepping outside your comfort zone,
Mm-hmm.
right? I believe that, that growth is at the edge of discomfort,
Ooh.
right?
You get that, guy?
And
At the edge of discomfort.
yes,
Yikes.
indeed. Yes. And the thing, it's important that we test our limits. We test the limits with everything else. How do we test our limits with personal growth and
Mm-hmm.
development, right? So I think that's the first thing that's important, of challenging yourself to be the better version of yourself. And you think about, how did you learn to like the things that you like? Where did it come from? Did it come from your parents passing this down? Did it come from your friends? When did
Mm-hmm.
you try to do this whole thing of self-discovery first? Right? And then I
Mm-hmm.
think that we are well-rounded and so diverse, just a person in general. We're not one-dimensional, so don't allow somebody to put you in a box, in a monolith, right? You can like multiple things, right? And I think that's what's so great and beautiful about this generation now, that you can be quirky, you can be cool, you can be this, you can be smart, you can just be you. But I think many times, more often than not, we try to conform to the masses that are
Mm-hmm.
uncertain about themselves. And I think that when you have confidence and you know who you are, you can't waver. And sometimes that is very attractive when people see that, hey, you are confident, because people are still trying to discover who we are. Muhammad Ali said this: the man at age 20 who thinks the same way at age 50 as he did at age 20 has lost 30 years of his life.
Right, right. Yeah. Tasha said facts. C says, if you say I never lost a fight, did you really fight? Kenny J
Oh,
says I know, right? He's from the DMV. He's
I lost a couple. I lost a couple.
dropped some knowledge.
I won more.
Self actualization.
Yes.
Invictus, the OG dropping gems. Kenny J says, think of who you are. Think of who you are. Metacognition. Somebody else said something. Oh yeah, I think I got them all. But yeah, right. Like I like what was the one we just said? If you say I never lost a fight, did you really fight? Like, I think that's a good one too, and thinking like, did you really fight? And self-actualization. So, all these I think are really good as we think about you, like you said, like finding yourself, right? And learning yourself and putting yourself out of the box, which is what you're saying is so important for us to do. I have a favorite quote, and it says, "You will never influence the world by being just like it." Because
Snaps,
yeah,
snaps,
because I feel like you'll never
snaps.
influence the world by being just like it. And I had to your point, embrace that of myself. And how and it was kind of hard for me, I guess. Now I look back on it and I think, well, it wasn't easy, but it's definitely worth it on the other side. You'll never influence the world by being just like it. I always say that. So tell us a little bit about one. We got 10 minutes. I know we could talk forever. So I want to get to how you're building community. And two, I want to get to your book. And then three, I have a final question to close out.
Building community. I think my personal thing is I want to build community everywhere I go, pour into people. So if I come across your path, as it says, is you don't meet any strangers. It's some friends you haven't met yet, right? But I just want to bless anybody's life, whether it's big or small. I think we need to pour more love into the world, right? And love thy neighbor. So whatever it could be me holding the door for somebody or just saying, hey, I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you, queen. That. Another thing is, because I moved around sometimes, kind of like a nomad with this journey of higher education. One of the congresswomen here talked to me and said, when you go to a community, she told me when she was younger, get into the community. So one of the things that was really eye-opening for me was I'm a coach. I coach for the Winston-Salem Greyhounds, and I'm coaching flag football 4, 5, and 6-year-olds. And it helped me really pour into the community because I remember when I was younger that I played flag football. I didn't play flag football, I played Pop Warner. But how that circle comes back and cyclical, right? So I think that's important of building a community. The other thing you told me was what? I forgot the other question. Don't be mad at me.
Building community. I want to hear about your book.
Oh, yeah. So book is plug right here. That is it. Opening doors to your limitless potential. That is it. It's on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. I think that as we reshift our mind, and we know the common saying is the glass half full of glass half empty. But if we shift our mind to focus and concentrate on things that we did accomplish, we'll accomplish more, right? And it's a daily commitment to being a better version of yourself, right? The world deserves your best. I deserve your best. We all deserve your best. And then it's dream fulfillment. What are the things that you want to do in life? Are you living your dream? Have you come up with a plan or a system to get to that dream? Because I think every day we should wake up with purpose and promise, right? And then sometimes you got to take score of what you've done. So now let's focus and shift our mindset on the things we did accomplish.
I like that. Wait. I like taking score of what you've done. I like that one. I'm like, we have a lot of comments here, so I'm trying to let me scroll. We can relate, stamped, get love, give love, get love. Love that, Tasha says. Jelena, I hope I'm saying that right. I think recognizing your growth and going through challenges, like Mitch said, is so important. We are extremely multifarious. I need to,
Faceted? I think it's multifaceted. I don't know.
Okay. Multifaceted or multifarious. But either way, we're extremely multi as humans, and we should be encouraged to embrace it and how it shapes us. The stronger the community, the healthier and happier the people. I like that, Jelena. I like that a lot. I like, recognizing your growth, I think, and going through challenges. I think that recognizing your growth piece is important as well. It's kind of like what you said about taking score of what you did. And then today when we were talking, earlier today, you said, it's important for us not just to pass down the trauma, but to also pass down the good things, right? LaCrista said #dope. So I think that's important, right? To recognize our growth and recognize the good things we've done and making sure that we're passing that down as well. Like you don't always have to pass down the bad things. We can do good things. So I think that is important. And so back to your book. anything else that you want to share? So, guys, so the link for the book it is already in my Instagram. We're going to post this in a second. It'll be back in my story. So make sure you grab a copy of this book. And I think that it's just, I think what I hear you saying, what is interesting is just to continue to reiterate to that authentic self, right? Going back to, I see you circle going around you. Can you hear me? Oh, there you are. You're back. Going back to embracing yourself. And I think that's so hard for a lot of us to do, right? LaCrista says no more generational curses. And no more generational curses, though, is that part of like embracing yourself, like being okay with the goods, the bads, and the uglies of you.
I'm with. I think another thing I want to mention is it's important to be around those who pour into you.
Yeah.
Right? Your community. Where do you find energy from? Right? And as we said this before, delayed gratification. I tell it sometimes, a lot of these students, that you microwave babies, right? That you just want things overnight. Mm-hmm. But you have to trust the process. And I know you hear this a lot, but it's like, I'm telling you because I've walked a mile in those shoes before. And I've done a lot, right? I've tested the boundaries. I've tested, what I couldn't do. I've gone outside my comfort zone. You got a black man from DC, murder capital, went to Indiana, only black man out there, went to Oregon. I believe in follow and model the life that I'm telling you will be successful. Mm-hmm. So I think that it's important that we believe in each other and that the loudest voice in your head should be your voice. Yeah,
that's true, right? The loudest voice in your head should be, I like them. I need to write these down. Like
some of them in the book too. Some of them in my book.
Okay, I can get them. Okay, let me just go back and say this has nothing to do with anything, but you cannot get away from DC because your accent is totally DC. So I just want to, that has nothing to do with anything, guys. I just want to say that. I meant to say at the beginning of the show, you just sound like DC. Like you just sound like the DMV. I'll like no matter where you live, you're gonna have that, by the way. So don't worry, it's not gonna go anywhere. We are. Yeah, no. Did you know I was from Northern Virginia? I'm from outside of DC. So,
yes, we had the first conversation we had. You told me from Northern VA.
Yes,
indeed.
So we're at 3 minutes. I know it goes by fast. Don't worry, guys. We're gonna have Mitch back on in 2022. I'm trying to do a year in review, but we just keep getting new people. So, which is awesome. It's a blessing. It's a blessing, and it's just one little me. So I'm a one-woman band. Okay. So I don't know, guys. This is tricky. I don't know. I usually send my guests, and I sent Mitch a copy of a few questions to get him prepared. However, if people watch my show, they will know what this next question is. If they have not watched a previous show, they will not know what it is because I do not send this to people on purpose because I want them to not know the answer on purpose. They know the answer, but I want them to be thinking about it. So if you follow, make sure you're following me. Make sure you're subscribing, make sure you're liking, all that good stuff. But if you do follow me, you know that, I know, don't say, this is embracing my inner nerd, Mitch, so just work with me. I am a cat lady. I know, I said it out loud.
Nerd power,
I'm a cat lady. I have one cat, but I'm saving a million of them in my backyard. And so, you know what they say about cats? Curiosity, the cat. So my question is to you, what are you curious about? Ooh. I know it gets them every time, guys, because they don't watch the prior ones, so they don't know.
I'm gonna say this. I'm curious about inner peace and the pathway to peace.
About
inner peace, inner
okay.
peace, and the pathway that people take to get to peace. That would
Tell
be
us more.
So my thing is, I think that peace is defined and it's almost like success, right? Mm-hmm. It's all individualized. But what does peace look like to you and what does a peace look like to me? And how did you come to a point of peace? Because sometimes we think we're in a peaceful place, but may not be. And then how can you find your peace in the middle of chaos, right? Mm-hmm. I think that's what I'm curious about. Right, in the pathway that people have taken with peace. People may find peace at an earlier age, but I think we're all in a quest to find comfort and to find peace. Mm-hmm. And what is our pathway to get there?
Yeah, that's interesting, right? Like, what is our pathway to get there? And what does it look like when we get there?
And how do you maintain it? because I don't think
Yeah.
it's just a destination. I think it's something that we keep traveling to, right?
Yeah.
That we have to remain grounded and staunch and anchored in our peace.
So funny. One of my, I don't know, everybody here I know has a different higher power. So let me just put that out there, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. But one of my favorite scriptures is seek peace and work to maintain it, turn away from evil and do good. And when I think about where I go back to your point, like, how do you maintain it? Because when, my hair's on fire, I say that scripture to myself, seek peace and work to maintain it, turn away from evil and do good. But how do I maintain it? Like, seeking it, okay, I gotcha. But to your point, how do I maintain it? And that's where it always goes awry, right? Maintaining it is the trick, I think.
I agree. I agree.
I know you guys, I'm getting so many comments, and we are at 8:00. Let's see. Landa Yogi, I'm listening big cuz. C says, my big bro from SE calls me Rev like, because I want to want and give love to all. You sure do, C. I love you, C. And keep the peace. La Krista, praying hands. Who did I miss here? Thank you, La Krista. This is a great show. C says salute. And everybody uplifting, great words, gems, Invictus. No more generational curses. So, Mitch, can you believe it? That was a half an hour.
That was quick.
I know, it's quick. It's so quick. But definitely we are going to touch base in the new year. I definitely need to do a Where Are They Now show. I've been saying I was going to do that for a long time, but it's just such a blessing to have people coming. So this is, you guys, the Terran Lamp Show, episode number 75. Yes. If you would like to be on the show in 2022, please make sure you get a hold of me. I would love to have you on the show. You are clearly here on the Instagram, so all you have to do is DM me. If you know someone who would like to be on the show, please make sure you get a hold of me. You can DM me. If you know Mitch, he has my cell phone number. You can connect with him. One, connect with him to get his book. Two, you can connect with him, and he can connect us together. And if you know my cell phone number, then you can just text me. Love to have you on the show. We're booking guests into April or May of 2022. So, yeah, I'd love to talk to you. What we'll do is just connect and figure out a date, just like we figured out with Mitch. Make sure you are going to the link in the Instagram that I posted before, and the link that I'm going to post in a second, to get Mitch's book. And if you would like to connect with him, and you don't have his cell number yet, yes. I put it up again. One more time. Hold it up. There you go. Guys, your limitless potential. Isn't it though? I have to read it myself, because all those dropping dimes, I need to go back and read them again, because I didn't write them down. So Mitch, thank you so much for your time and for your talents. I'm so glad that you're on the show, and you're from, you're like you guys, I consider it the DC DMV folk, hometown heroes. So I totally appreciate it. And I am going to catch you in a second. I'll give you a buzz just to follow up, but we're going to put this, guys, on IGTV, on YouTube, and then it's going to be on Apple Podcast. So Mitch will have a copy of that as well to send to his people. Mitch, take care of yourself and each other. Happy holidays to everyone. We'll be back in 2022. This is the Terran Lamp Show, episode number 75.
Peace.
Out.